देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Also.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Shri Advaita Gadadhar Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sing, Blossom Girls, sing. Bhimsena. Go. One more time. Boys. Louder. Hey, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada.
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Parivrajacharya Stotar Shat Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya BBT Sansthapak Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Bhimsen Blossom Sangha Ki Jai. Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhya cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Did everyone say Hare Krishna? No. So we get one more chance. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Hari Bol. So I'll tell you a story, all right? And you have to be very attentive because I could be asking you a few questions at the end of the story. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So in a far, far away land, there lived an old woman. Her children had all grown up. They were married. They had moved away. She lived alone in the city. One day, somebody gave her a Bhagavad Gita as it is. And she received the book, she took it home, and she actually read the Bhagavad Gita. And after reading the Bhagavad Gita, she looked at the page that tells, she looked at the back of the book, towards the end of the book where there are all the addresses given, and she found the closest address to the temple, and she visited the temple. She walked into the temple, and she saw the deities. She was very happy. And there was a devotee in the temple. And she had come in, so the devotee understood that she was a visitor. So the devotee graciously welcomed her in. And since she was very elderly, he offered her a chair to sit in. And he started asking her where she was from. She told him. And he asked her what brought her here to the temple. And she said that she had read the Bhagavad Gita, and in the Bhagavad Gita, she learned in the Bhagavad Gita that one must worship Krishna and one must seek association of devotees, and this is possible if you go to the temple. And the book had the address, so she was here. So the devotee thought that maybe she was just one of those new a new person who's very excited about finding something different. So he said, all right, do you know how we worship the deity? This is the deity. And she said, I don't know. So he was trying to explain to her about the deity. And this devotee got called away for some services. So the devotee went away. And when he returned back, he saw that there were few more visitors that had come to the temple. And this lady, the old lady, she had gathered all of them around her, and she was telling them that Krishna, Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that human form of life is meant for self-realization. And to realize the self, one must practice bhakti yoga. Many people are confused about the yoga process. Some of them think that yoga means some postures or exercises. However, yoga actually means to connect our consciousness with the Supreme Consciousness. This is the old lady who's giving the lecture. And then she says, you must be very careful of the Mayavadis. The Mayavadis confuse you. They say Krishna doesn't have a form. They say we do not have a personality. And the goal of life is to merge in the impersonal. So a devotee came back by then, and when he saw her talk about Krishna and talk about the Bhagavad Gita, he was shocked. And she was speaking so convincingly that our devotee sat down and started listening to her. And for the next half an hour to 45 minutes, she was preaching whatever she had understood from her readings of the Bhagavad Gita, and it was very good. And then she said to all the people there, I suggest that all of you take beads, chanting beads. And all of them did take chanting beads. And then they left, and this lady, she turned towards her devotee and she said, so you were explaining to me about how to do deity worship. What is the deity? Can you go on? Explain that to me. And the devotee for a moment was so astounded by what had just happened that he didn't know what to do. And then he said that, are you sure you're coming to the temple for the first time? She said, yes. Do you know some devotees? I mean, are there devotees in your family? No. Did you grow up in a Krishna conscious family? No. Did you by chance attend Bhimasena or Blossom programs? She said, I don't think so. I could have attended Bhimasena, but Blossom I could have. But I'm too old for that now. So she said that, so what do I have to do? And he said that, please keep coming to the temple. So she would come to the temple every day. And after a week she said, I see that all of you live in the temple. I'm living all alone. I have an apartment. I will sell off my apartment. And I will donate all the money that comes of that sale to the temple. After all, it is Krishna's. All I request you is, can you give me a room to stay here in the temple? It was a lot of money, I guess. So they built a extension, a small room for her. And in that room she lived and served Tulasi Maharani. And then she had this doll of Krishna. And she would call that doll Gopal. And after some time, devotees found her talking to her Gopal. Yes, Gopal? Oh, you want to eat sweets today? No, you should not eat sweets. It's not good for your health. I'll make some hot tea with ginger in it. What? Don't be so adamant. You should drink this. And devotees are wondering, okay. And she would actually make tea with ginger tea and offer it to Gopal, and somehow the tea would disappear somewhere. And occasionally she would have, sometimes she would get a swing and she would make Gopal sit on the swing and she would push the swing to and fro. And she would be so happy doing that. Some of the devotees, they thought that maybe she is old, so she's kind of having her imaginations. There were others that felt that she was really pure. One day, she saw someone showed her a short video on Narasimhadev. Now this is Narasimhadev who was worshipped deep in a jungle, in a forest, on the top of a hill. And the forest was filled with wild animals, tigers, deer, no lions, snakes, jackals, no jaguars. And this was really very dense, a very dense forest. Yes, Mayapur. No, not in this forest. No elephants, no hippos. Is that all right with you? Would you want me to add a few elephants and hippos too? No, not really. Okay. All right. And this was so remote that not many people would come to worship Narasimhadev. But the devotee who had made the video was a very sincere devotee of Narasimhadev and had gone to many Narasimha temples, some of them that were very famous and others that were very remote. And in this video, to get to Narasimhadev, they had to walk for a couple of hours into the forest. Dark, sometimes dense, occasionally it would be a little open, climb up rocks, just beaten up pathways, or beaten down pathways. Not many people would be visiting. Only once a week, a priest would come to worship Narasimhadev. And Narasimhadev was living in a cave. And you had to go deep into the cave. And when you went into the cave, you had to wade through water in the dark cave. And as you would wade through the water would rise up, or rather, the cave would become more deep. And slowly, as you felt the water rising up, it would, for a person who is about 5'6" the water would come up to their chest. And then, as you continue on, slowly the water would recede. And then you would see Narasimhadev at the end of the cave. He wasn't in water. So after some time, the cave floor would be dry. You came out of the water and then you saw Narasimhadev. This Narasimha is known as Veera Narasimha. Many, many years ago, like many, many ages ago, when Lord Brahma felt that he needed to do penance, he was doing tapasya. He was sitting down in meditation, and all of his 8 eyes on his foreheads were closed deep in meditation. And he was chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He was vibrating this beautiful Mahamantra with all of his 4 mouths. And as he was doing that, a demon appeared. This demon was a thief. He came and stole away the Vedas from Brahma. And when Brahma loses the Vedas, Brahmaji, when the Vedas are taken away from him, then practically the entire universe is submerged in ignorance. There's no knowledge anywhere. So Brahmaji prayed to Lord Narasimhadev. Lord Narasimhadev appeared, and the demon was killed, and Lord Narasimhadev gave back the Vedas to Brahmaji. And since Brahmaji received the Vedas back from Narasimhadev, that beautiful mountain is known as Vedagiri. Giri is the mountain, and Veda means where Brahmaji reclaimed the Vedas. Narasimhadev killed the demon and gave back the Vedas to Brahma. So, yes. Which state? A very good state. It's called a state. Vedagiri. That's the mountain. It is located in Bhutal, Jambu Dvipe. Jambu Dvipe, Dravida Deshe. Maybe I'll let you know that later on, okay? Sure. So Vedagiri mountain. And Brahmaji, he requested Narasimhadev, please remain here so that we could worship you. Over the years, devotees who would come to worship Narasimhadev, they were more interested in eating the pizza from the Maha Prasadam stall. And the cake, the pizzas and the cake, and the juices. And slowly, nobody would be coming to the temple. And the temple was kind of forgotten. And only the wild animals would sometimes visit Narasimhadev, except for a few of the local people. The local people, they loved Narasimhadev. However, the forest was really daunting, very dangerous. And no one would, like Narasimhadev, after dusk, there would be no one except just Narasimhadev and the animals. This went on for years. So when the devotees saw this video, they were very excited. And they felt so very attracted towards Narasimhadev that Narasimhadev had come and he protected his devotee. The next day, our old lady, she went to a very prominent person in the temple and she said, my Gopal has told me to go and serve Narasimhadev. Now, who's her Gopal? The doll. The doll that she worships. My Gopal wants me to go and worship Narasimhadev. He specifically ordered me. And this devotee, he thought that she was kind of making up things. And he said, Vish Narasimhadev. And she said, Veera Narasimha. Why? Because he's all alone. There's no one to serve him. There's no one to take care of him. Yes. Right now it's a mystery. Okay? So, this devotee said, Mataji, why do you want to go and serve? It's in the forest. You can live here in the temple and serve your Gopal. And she said, that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to serve Gopal. Gopal told me to go and take care of Narasimhadev, so I have to go and take care of Narasimhadev. And he said, and she was so adamant on doing that, she would not leave his office. So he finally said that how would you ever go to India? You have no money. You need to fly to India. And she said, you make the arrangements. And he said, I cannot make the arrangements. And from what I've heard, nobody lives there. How are you going to live there? There's no food, there's no water, there's no place to stay. And only once a week somebody visits Narasimhadev. I can't accept the responsibility. You're so old. What if you have health issues? Who's going to take care of you? And she said, shh. I can take care of myself and I need to take care of Narasimhadev. He's all alone. So this devotee said, well, let me see what I can do. And he completely forgot about it. He went about doing his own things. And then, a couple of weeks later, he just asked someone, so has she given up that idea about Narasimhadev? No, she is on her way to India. How did she get the flight tickets, the money for the flight tickets? Some devotee heard about her and she asked him to arrange for the flight tickets and she's going to India. Who's this devotee? So they found out that who was that devotee. So they called up this devotee who lived in Vrindavan. And they said, do you even know how old she is? And he said, what could I do? She was so insistent. I felt that if I don't serve her, then maybe I'm making an offense. So I'll just bring her to India and then I'll get her to Vrindavan or Mayapur and then she will serve. Once she comes to Vrindavan or she comes to Mayapur, she'll be so happy to see Vrindavan, she'll be so happy to see Mayapur, and she'll serve there for the rest of her life. And he said, you're in for a shock. She is very persistent. So over the years, many devotees would come and they would offer her many things. Like someone would come and say, Mataji, I cannot worship this Shaligram Shila. Would you like to worship? So she would have a Shaligram. She had a couple of Shaligram Shilas, a few. People who couldn't do the worship anymore, they would give it to her. Then somebody would come and say, well, we have these deities. Can you keep these deities with you and worship it? And she would have. So over the years that she lived in a temple, she had this huge collection of deities and Shilas and other worshipable objects. So when she landed at Delhi, at the New Delhi airport, and a devotee went to receive her, he asked her, any checked-in baggage? And she said, yes, I have one trunk, one big suitcase. She said, all right, I'll get it for you. And as soon as he got her suitcase, she said, wait, first of all, let me see if everything's there. And he said, no, all your things, all your clothes and everything would be there. And he said, just wait. And she opened a suitcase to check out if everything was okay. And all that was there in the suitcase was the deities, the Shaligram Shilas, the dresses for the deities. She only had the dress that she had on her body. That's it. And this suitcase had just this paraphernalia. All of it. And the devotee said, are you planning to sell all of this at the gift shop? And she said, no. I have to take care of all of them. I care for them. She said, all right. So let us go. And she said, are we going to this place, to Veer Narasimha? And she said, no. The devotee said, no, we are not. So where are we going? She asked. Oh, to Vrindavan. And she said, no, I have to go to Veer Narasimha's temple. And devotee said, this is your first time to Vrindavan. I will take you to the temple of Veer Narasimha. But right now, you are like just 2 hours drive from Vrindavan. This is the land of Krishna. You are Gopal. And she said, first we have to go to Veer Narasimha's temple. He's waiting for me to take care of him. And she's like, what? You don't want to go to Vrindavan? She says, I want to go to Vrindavan, but right now I have to go to Veer Narasimha's temple. I cannot think of my own needs and enjoyment when Lord Narasimha needs to be cared for. So they get on a plane and they go to this place, to the airport that is closest to the temple. And then our devotee he brings her to this place and he says, here you are, this is the forest, there's no one around. I mean, there's not even a McDonald's around, come on. She said, devotees don't visit McDonald's. He said, oh, okay, I'm sorry. He said, there's no Govindas around. He said, she said, I've come to serve Narasimhadev. I don't need a Govindas. Whatever Lord Narasimhadev provides, I'll be happy with it. So they'll go looking around for somebody who could take them to the temple, and they come to this little hamlet, a very little village. And they ask around, so who is the chief priest? The chief priest is himself 70 years old. He is the priest who has been worshipping Narasimhadev for 50 years. Since he was 20 years of age, he's just been doing that. And he could only do that worship once a week. Only once a week he would go to this temple and worship Narasimhadev, and then would walk back practically 8 to 10 miles. He would walk back to the village, and that's it. So anyone who wanted to come and worship Narasimhadev would have to go along with him on the designated day. So he said, well, you can stay here with us because you've come for the darshan of Narasimhadev, and after 3 days, I'll bring you there. She said, no, we have to go there right now. And the priest said, why? Because Narasimhadev is all alone. And my Gopal has asked me to take care of him. And the priest said, who is this Gopal? And she took out this doll and he said, this is my Gopal. And the priest said, he told you to go. And she said, yes, he told me. But please understand, Mataji, it's far away and today is not the day that I visit the temple. And she said, well, you just let me know what are the directions and I'll go by myself. And seeing her persistence and her dedication, the priest said, do you even... He was trying to explain to her the reality of the situation. He said, do you even know how difficult it is to get there, what to speak of living there? And she said, in a very grave voice, she said, if Krishna wants to kill you, there is no one in the world that can protect you. And if Krishna wants to protect you, no one can hurt you, nobody can touch you. And when the priest heard this, he was, wow, she has so much faith. He said, well, I will bring you to this temple tomorrow. So they brought her to that temple. The next morning, it was a 2-hour walk through the forest. And they reached this place. And there was a dilapidated structure there, really broken down structure. The outer walls were made of rocks and there was a thatched hut. And she was so excited, she said, my Gopal has arranged a house for me. Where is the house? Nobody else could see the house. All they could see was a few rocks stacked up and a thatched roof over it. And then she saw that there was a little pond besides it. And she said, I have water too. This place is so beautiful. I will live here. I will stay here. And they couldn't say anything. So they said, all right, Mataji, if you need any help, There's nothing we can do, but once a week we will visit you. No cell phones work here. There's no telephone. There's no way you can contact the external world except once a week when we come back. And she was so happy. And when the priest and the devotee, they came back, leaving her all alone there, they were really concerned that would she even last in night? I mean, there are so many wild animals right there in the forest. The next day, the priest could not help but tell the other people in the village that a saintly lady has come from a faraway country to take care of Narasimhadev. And the news spread. It went beyond the village to other villages. And everyone wanted to see this saint. So someone came with some corn, somebody came with some chapatis, somebody came with some rice, someone brought some fruits. Dozens of people came up to see her. And they found her so blissful. And she welcomed all of them. And she took all of that and she said, I have to serve Narasimhadev. And then she made an offering to Narasimhadev. And then she would feed all the people and say, this is prasad, have prasad. And they said, no, this is for you. And she would say, this is prasad. You must honor prasad. And very soon people would come, not just to take darshan of Narasimhadev, but also get the blessings of this devotee. One day, the priest, as he finished his worship on his designated day and was walking back to his house, she heard some loud noises from that little hut where she was staying. It was getting dark. She did not want to spend any more time there. He did not want to spend any more time there, so he left. A week later, he came up to her and said, what was all the noise about? And she said, when? He said, well, last week when I was here, I could hear utensils falling and, somebody shouting out in a very strange language. And it seemed to be very angry. And she said, oh, it was nothing. It was just some of the pots, my pots, they fell onto the ground. And he said, why? Well, that day Narasimhadev was really being very naughty. He wouldn't eat what I had cooked for him. So I became angry at him and I was shouting at him in whatever was her language. She was from a different country. She did not know the local language. You have to eat this. If you don't eat, you'll fall sick. Where will you get the nutrition from? That was what she was trying to tell Narasimhadev. One day she told the priest. The priest asked her that this is really a very dense forest and there are wild animals around. Did any of the animals attack you? Were you ever in danger? And she said, no, except that once a cobra bit me. What? Did you seek some medication? How did you survive? A cobra. And she said, well, after the cobra bit me, I went up to Narasimhadev and I told him that a cobra has just bitten me. Now if you want me to die, well, there'll be no one to take care of you. But if you want me to take care of you, then you do whatever you have in mind. You think carefully about this. Narasimhadev said, sometimes when you bathe me with water and you collect that water, the Charanamrit or the Abhishek water, you take some of that water and put it over your wound where the cobra bit you. And she did that. Nothing happened. None of these techniques, medications, or any other activities should be practiced at home unless and until you are under strict supervision. It is dangerous to do such practices except under strict supervision. Did everyone understand that? Yes, you should carefully understand this. And then, because she was so old, she was in her 80s by now. One day when the villagers came to seek the darshan of Narsimhadev, they found her. She had this little chair on which she would keep Krishna because she always wanted, her Gopal, and she always wanted to rock that chair to and fro so that Gopal could swing on it. So she was holding the lotus feet of Gopal, and she had her head on the lotus feet of Gopal, and in her arms, her arm was bent, so in that bend of her arm, she had the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and the devotees, Jai Shri Shri Radha Neela Madhav Bhagwan Ki Jai, and the devotees, some Matajis, they went up to her and said, Mataji, Mataji, how are you? And they realized that she had gone back to the spiritual world. She had left her body in the night, with her head at the lotus feet of her Gopal, and in her arms was the Bhagavad Gita that had brought her to Krishna, to her Gopal. Did you like that story? You have questions. What's her name? What's her name? My question is, what are the lessons you can learn from this story? There's no deal here. I had already stated my terms. I tell you the story, then I ask you questions, and you have to give me answers. Yes, Mayapur.
And if the Lord tells you to do something, you'll do it for him. But like if you don't do it, maybe you'll get the karma.
Okay.
But she listened, and then that's how she went back to Godhead.
Yes. I mean, people here, that's a very good example that he gave. If you work at Microsoft and a boss says something, you do it. So here is the original Microsoft company, and the boss is Gopal. And she followed Gopal's orders, and she was so happy, and if one does not, then one would receive karma. Good, thank you for that lesson. Yes?
That if you have faith in Krishna, Krishna will make arrangements for you.
If you have faith in Krishna, Krishna will make arrangements for you. That's good, that's very nice. Let's give them a big clap, both the devotees. Wonderful lessons. Kavya, you had your hand up, and then Advait. What's her name? What's her name?
Anonymous.
Her name is a devotee of Krishna. All right, Advait, you get to ask.
So
Oh, sorry. You have to, the lesson.
my lesson was that basically if you understand like the Bhagavad Gita, whatever Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, then basically
after you understand what Krishna is trying to say in the Bhagavad Gita, then after that, when you perform when you perform what Krishna wants you to do, then Krishna will make arrangements for everything to come.
Okay, so if you understand the instructions of Krishna as mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures, and you follow those instructions, then Krishna will do what?
Krishna will make arrangements.
Make arrangements.
Make arrangements for you to make progress in your devotional service.
Krishna will make arrangements for you to make progress in your devotional service.
I have a question.
Very nice.
But you have 2 questions.
Any other lessons? And then Advaita will take your questions. Yes. Vaishnavi. And then Arjun, would you want Vaishnavi to go first?
Okay.
Okay, yes.
I learned that you don't have to be like a certain caste or like certain class. Anyone who loves Krishna truly, like from their heart, will be like able to serve Krishna, and Krishna doesn't think that, oh, you're this person or you're that person. If you truly love Krishna, he will arrange things for you.
So if you love Krishna, you truly love Krishna, Krishna will definitely reciprocate. Krishna is not biased.
Yeah,
Okay.
you have to like worship Krishna by heart. Like you can't like.
You have to
like-
worship Krishna with your heart.
Like the priest only went one time a week, but she lived there.
Yes, she lived there. Yes. And she served Narasimhadev and she read the Bhagavad Gita every day. Anyone else? Anyone want to sell the apartment and offer everything to Krishna? You don't have apartments, but what about, oh, actually some of y'all do that, isn't it? Y'all make things and then you auction them and you collect the money and then you give to the temple, or you are wanting to send it to Mayapur. So wonderful.
You have so much bounty.
So, it's a little late.
No, Prabhuji, can I ask you a question?
Okay, questions.
3
Okay.
questions. First question, where's the Machi living at first?
Sorry?
Hey, be quiet. No, what country was the Machi living before she moved to the Veer Narasimha temple?
I'll tell you the continent, Europe.
Germany?
That's it.
I got it.
Now, just Europe.
Okay. Second question, what state was the temple in?
The country is India. Yes.
Third question, what's the Machi's name?
Devotee of Krishna.
Tell 10 names of Mataji.
Okay, you get to ask.
I have a question.
Okay, you have a question and then she gets to ask. Just wait, Advaita.
Question 1. Is the temple still there?
It is still there.
Question 2. Can you tell 10 names of that Mataji?
10 names. I'm not sure if she has 10 names. Yes, you had a question?
No, it wasn't a question, but like it was a
Yeah, you have to ask.
lesson.
You have a lesson?
Yeah.
Yes,
If
please.
you take 1 step towards Krishna, he takes 1,000 steps, 100 steps towards you.
Yes, he does. You take 1 step towards Krishna. Thank you. Wonderful. So can we stop here? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Did you like the story?